All right, so leg completed. All you have to do is hit next, and you have the option to either go back to the menu, or you could just simply continue right away with the next leg without even having to unload. And literally, it will save it and plunk you right back where you came from. So let's just get these flaps reset for takeoff. Let's give it a little bit of power here. Come on. Oh, we do have the parking brake on. I did not put the parking brake on, but I guess it's on now. All right, so just gonna turn around, backtrack our runway, and start again. And I'm just gonna kill my nav log there. All right, so we're gonna start leg 2 now of our Swiss Northern Lakes tour. This is gonna be a little bit shorter leg. This one's about 30 minutes, 65 miles to get us to, I believe it's Zurich is LLSZH, correct me if I'm wrong. So Zurich will be our next airport of landing. Oral 42 got to go. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you follow me and like me for the follow my Twitch stream for the next time. I do a lot of airliners, but I will try to throw some GA in once in a while because these bush trips are actually a lot of fun to do. All right. So we've got leg number 2 of our Swiss bush trip here. So we're in Bern. We're going to take off from Bern. We're going to head over to Zurich. Oh, you actually meant good game. Oh, I thought you meant gotta go. uh, whenever I play Deep Rock Galactic, that's what GG always means gotta go. Whenever a game is done, everyone's GG's and away they all go. Alright, so let's just take a quick look around because the sim reset everything. I just want to make sure pitot heat's back on again. I like to have pitot heat on. Mixture's full. Sorry, mixture's full rich. Flaps are set to 10. Looks like we're good to go. And away we go for leg number 2. Emi River, after return to the air, head in northeasterly direction for 10.5 miles to reach the 50 along Emi River. What I probably didn't do is I probably didn't reset the trim for takeoff. Good thing there's a tree right off the end of that runway there and a mountain further out. Alright, so here we go, Emi River. So after return to the air, turn northeasterly direction. So we'll start our turn out now. We'll just make it a gentle climbing turn. We're going to head northeast, 058 for 5 minutes, 10.5 miles. Again, I think I'm going to go to about 45 because that seemed to give me pretty good clearance over the terrain around here. Some of the terrain was less than ideal. The nice thing is that as you complete each bush leg 2, the bush tour remembers where you stopped on the airport. So if I come back tomorrow and try to refly this leg number 2, it's going to start me in that exact same spot I finished the first time. So it creates a save spot right there. All right, let's, yeah, that was too far to the left, so we're looking for the Emi River in 10 miles. Let's keep climbing though. We got to make it over all these hilltops here. I turned it heading back way too far, didn't I? It's supposed to be 058 heading. It's okay, that'll make up for the upwind leg a little bit anyways. Just pull it closer to the best rate there, just to kind of get us some good clearance of these mountains here. we go. Now I think we're going to make it over. Definitely can't be a slacker when you're flying in this area, though. You got to keep... Do I have fuel flow on here at all? Fuel flow gallons per hour. There it is. Gotta watch your altitude, though. Alright, so we're going to cross the Emmy River. Oh, I never started the timer. Ah, shoot. Poop. Poop. Did the turn. Forgot to start the timer. Well, it's probably about 3 minutes. 2-3 minutes. We're looking for a fairly big river anyways. The 50-mile long Emmy River. I do see a valley coming up, so usually a valley indicates a river. My time would have been off anyways because we were still climbing at a lower speed. There's 4,500 feet. And even 4,500 feet will probably not quite clear that next ridge. So we're going to have to keep this climb going a little bit. I'm going to go for 55 now. Just to kind of clear that next, just make sure we clear that next ridge there. Because we basically are keeping straight ahead here for this next one. MSA is 6,000. Thank you. We'll go with 55 for now. That should at least clear that ridge anyways. I think we're just going to clear it here at about 5,000. So yeah, that MSA for 6,000 sounds legit. We'll go for 55. It'll be more than good enough for VFR. And yeah, so there's a pretty big river obviously coming up the middle of this valley here with a lot of towns along it. So that probably is the Emmy River. We'll be able to really get a... If we get to 55, we'll be able to get a good timing point when we cross that river. All right. So there's 5,500 now. That should definitely clear that ridge. I can see past it now, so we can level off. Get the power back a little bit here. Get the mixture back a bit. Yeah, so I would venture that we have gone probably about 4 or 5 minutes. I don't see any other major rivers really coming up, although there is a river probably that goes up this valley as well. So the question is it this river or is it the second river? I'm going to take a guess, take a bet, and say it's going to be the first river we cross here. And then we are looking for Lake Sempak, so that should hopefully continue our course for just under 19 miles to Lake Sempak in Canton of Lucerne. I'd assume this is the river we're looking for. Let's just wait till we actually cross it. Once again, it looks like we're hopping from lake to lake to lake. Lake Sempak, Lake Baldeg. That is a funny name though, Baldeg. Have you ever known a not Baldeg? Alright, so we're pretty much across the river right now, so we'll do a reset. We're going to do about 10 minutes on this heading to get us to Lake Sempak. I see maybe something in the distance there. It could be a ridge. It's hard to tell from here. So we're just going to fly. We're just going to keep flying straight ahead. After that, we make a right turn to get to Lake Baldeg, Lake Halwil, Lake Zurich, and land at the Zurich airport. So we're going to land at that airport. So that should be pretty easy to find when we actually get there. Key is finding Zurich itself. keeping ourselves on track is probably going to be the toughest part of this whole operation. While I'm enjoying just looking out the window at all the mountains, farmland. Just a beautiful country. I've never actually been to Switzerland, but I would love to go. I need to travel Europe a little bit more. Not feeling inclined to travel this summer, but maybe next summer we can do some traveling in Europe. This definitely looks like fun. Looks like just absolutely beautiful place. Then you'd have some very tall mountains down there to the south. MSA around Lake Sempak and Baldig is 7,000 feet. Ooh. Well, we'll see. Is the terrain sloping up here as we go? It probably is slightly. It feels like it might be sloping up slightly. Right now, I think we've got a good 1,500 on most of this. Yeah, this hill, this ridge here is where I thought we were going to have trouble clearing. So we should clear that by hopefully at least 500 feet. But yeah, like that mountain valley is probably about 1,000 to 1,500 feet below us. So we'll kind of keep it where it is right now. But if it does look like we're getting a little close, we will climb again. Kind of happy with where we are right now in terms of altitude. You don't want to get too high because you want to enjoy the scenery as you go by. You want to enjoy the sightseeing. It's part of the reason to do these bush trips. It's just to see different parts of the world, see some of the features that are out there, and some of them are well put together with like lots of like little. You fly over lots of little historical towns and lots of little tidbits. Yeah, that one in California that it literally is. I think it's 10 hours of flying in the Cub, or 10 or 12 hours. Like, it's a very long trip. You fly from Southern California, pretty much. I think Bakersfield is where you start. You fly all the way up Nevada, North Nevada, past Reno, and then circle back down California down to Yosemite. Like, it's just an absolutely mammoth undertaking to do that in the Cub too. Just a very small, low and slow, but lots of neat little places to visit on that tour. There's one of the Navy's largest munitions storage facilities. You end up flying right over it. I don't think you do that in real life, but you can fly right over the satellite images of it here in the Microsoft Flight Simulator world. So there's a lake coming up here. Could very well be Lake Sempak. Kill about 3 minutes, so we're about a third of the way from that river to that lake. Yeah, no, that's about right. So that's probably Lake Sempak. Just starting to come into sight there, but we'll keep going and see how it goes. After Lake Sempak, it's a very slight right turn, about 10 degrees, to Lake Baldag, 6 nautical miles further along. So maybe like right about there-ish. One thing at a time. Let's get to Lake Sempak first. We're getting close to the Pilatus factory. Oh, where's the Pilatus factory? Oh, I don't even know where the Pilatus factory is. I know it's in Switzerland. I know Pilatus is a Swiss company. I have no idea where the factory is. That stretched mountain peak to your right is Mount Pilatus, the namesake. Which one? Like this one right here, or like off to the right there? So I honestly don't know. It's kind of neat though. Thank you. I'm enjoying having your feedback on this. It's really kind of fun. Nice to have someone kind of feeding me little tidbits of information as we go here. Tons of little villages, little valleys and streams, mountain streams we cross here. Lots of small scale farming here though too. Family farms, very small scale farms. It's not like the gigantic mammoth industrial operations you see, especially in North America. This is small scale farming for the most part. You know, most of these plots are an acre or two, a couple of acres at most. I think it's the peak at the 1 o'clock, so one of these. So maybe this one here, maybe those ones there. I'll have to come back and look at it again. I honestly, I didn't even know that Pilatus was named for a mountain peak, so that is news to me. But all right, so this is probably Lake Sempak here, and then 6 miles further along, about 10-degree heading, is Lake Baldag. beautiful setting surrounded by forests and mountains. Spoken like somebody who's been there before. I assume it's going to be Lake Sempak, and it's not one of these little tiny lakes here. Almost more like ponds. But the heading was pretty good, and it sort of more or less pointed us right at that lake, so it's got to be it. So then 10 degrees to the right, 6 miles further along for Lake Baltic. Could be that right there. A little bit hard to tell. Just love looking out the window in this sim. It's part of the joy of flying, really. They have done such an excellent job of capturing that joy of flying, of just discovering things, seeing things from the air, and things you've never seen before. Nothing's really a secret to... Nothing's really a secret when you're in the air, because you can just see everybody's backyard. You can see what people are hiding behind their buildings. Every little village has got a railway station, though. The Swiss like their railway. Okay, so this has got to be Lake Sempak. After this, it's a 6-6 heading for 6 miles. So we'll get ourselves right over the center of that lake. Yeah, I have read that in the past, that Switzerland does have one of the best railway systems in Europe. Yeah, it covers so much of the country. You really don't need to have a car to get around. You can get around pretty much almost anywhere just using the public transportation system, which is the way most countries should function. You know, car ownership should not be a requirement for just to get by in life. And in North America, it's so frustrating sometimes that that's the case, and so few people fit into an ideal category where they can use public transit in North America. And if you don't fit into those ideal categories, like a 9-to-5 commuter, it's almost impossible to do it. It's not impossible. You can live close enough to your workplace in some places, but again, most workplaces, even just walking to a workplace, it's so... I hate to use the word ugly, but maybe ugly is the right word, but it's so... you're just so discouraged from wanting to do it. It's so unpleasant to walk around most North American, certainly most North American employment areas outside of like the city cores. It's a hard. You don't even want to walk to work because it's so unpleasant. You're competing with these cars. You know, you're riding your bike. You're competing with these cars that are trying to drive at 80 kilometers an hour down urban streets, and it just, yeah. Anywho, I'll stop griping. I think there's a lake coming up just over this rise here. I think there's a lake straight ahead up here. It's a little bit hard to tell, but it's not far. It's only 6 miles, so we're just going to get ourselves right over the middle of this lake here, and then we'll... Learned that from watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yeah, oh, and I know that. It's frustrating though, and knowing that, you know, what could be and what we're stuck with as a result of yeah, political influence back in the day. If you want a great YouTube channel to check out though, there's a guy who does a very hilarious kind of commentary and analysis of a lot of these kind of issues, Europe versus North America, and it's called Not Just Bikes. The guy is absolutely hilarious. I really enjoy his I really enjoy his channel. He's got lots of great videos. He's very kind of deadpan sarcastic, but makes a lot of great points about what to kind of take a lot of things we take for granted, but at the same time, um, points out things that maybe are not so obvious. The one of the good videos he did that was really kind of a little bit eye-opening in a way, not terribly surprisingly, but a little bit surprisingly, is that he did one called "Cities Aren't Noisy, Cars Are," which is 100% true. Most of the noise in cities comes from vehicles, automobiles, and trucks and buses and everything else. But you take away the cars, and the city can be just as quiet as anywhere else. It's the noise of the cars moving around that actually makes the city sometimes unbearably noisy. So this must be Lake Baldegg, and then so we turn to the northwest, fly a 335 heading, which is basically directly off the left wing, and that'll be Lake Hullwill, 5 miles north of that, and then head due east for 15 nautical miles to get to Lake Zurich. So that is probably Lake Zurich there, I bet, because that would be east, yeah. So we're just doing a little zigzag and exploring all the lakes, but yeah, this has got to be Lake Sempak, Lake Hullwill, and then from Lake Hullwill we turn east to Lake Zurich, and then we turn north when we get over Lake Zurich and land at Zurich Airport. That could be Zurich Airport there, I don't know. Might be a little bit far out, but we're getting close. Alright, so anyways, I am pretty safely concluded that this is Lake Sempak, because it took us, sorry, this is Lake Baldegg, because it took us, well, it didn't quite take us 3 minutes, but I'm kind of turning a little bit early here as well. I'm just going to restart, and it should be, again, about another 2.5 minutes just to get over to this lake. So yeah, this has got to be the case. These are the two lakes. They're perfectly kind of aligned here. I'm not even going to bother setting the heading bug for this one, because we're going to set the heading bug for the next one, which is 082. Should take us to Lake Zurich after we get over Lake Hullwill. And it's funny, because you end up covering distance in the bush trip. You don't feel like it, because you're doing it in such short little spurts. You're just going from this place to that place. You do them so short and so quickly, these little 2-minute, 5-minute, 9-minute legs. You don't realize you know how quickly you've covered 100 miles from the your previous airport, just little by little. But yeah, you get to sort of explore. I'm just enjoying this. It's such beautiful scenery here. Came over that ridge basically straight over here. Ooh, turning. Turning when you're not looking. Okay, so that's either Lake Zurich. How far is Lake Zurich? 15 miles. It's either that one, could be that one. But I feel like that's too far. I feel like that's closer to 15 miles. Are we over the lake yet? Not yet, I don't think. Not quite yet. Just doing a little astern just to see if we're over it. No, not quite yet. It's funny though, because when you're up here, like, you get the sensation that like the world is just in front of you, laid out in front of you, and you could just go as far as you want, as far as your tank of gas will take you anyways. You could just keep going forever. And you could, you really could. The scenery is all complete. Like, that's the nice thing about it, is it's not, it's not like you have to download individual scenery packs or anything. It's all included by Microsoft. That being said, you can get the world updates with even improved scenery for certain areas, and that obviously comes as different packs. But even a very reasonable basic level, like this basic level of scenery in Microsoft Flight Simulator, is very reasonable, very acceptable. Like, I just can't. I still, like, it's been what, 3 years now. I still can't get over what the sim looks like sometimes. It's been 3 years now. It's almost August, isn't it? Alright, now we're over the lake. I can see on here, I can see we're over the lake. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take up our eastbound heading to get to Lake Zurich. And once we get over at Lake Zurich, it's pretty much due north for 5 miles. And by the time we get to within 5 miles of the Zurich airport, it should be pretty obvious where that airport is. Again, I don't think I've ever actually landed in Zurich, but... yeah, so this is... how are we doing? No, it's straight ahead here. Nope, it's not this. It's up here. Alright, oh, almost forgot to restart the timer, so we need 7 minutes and 16 seconds and should take us over there. This must be Lake Zurich then. Because I'm on pretty much the 082 heading that they want us on here. So it was not this lake. It was the further lake. It didn't look like it was. It looked like it was too far away, but no, I guess we can cover that. That's 15 miles. We can cover that. Oops, going up again a little bit. Release was August 2020. Has it only been 2 years? Okay. Then I've got to say, like, as far as the state of the sim is concerned, like, not doing too bad for 2 years in. We have had teething problems. I will never deny that. We have had problems with things that don't work as well as they should right off the bat. But I will say that, like, this sim looks pretty darn good for a 2-year-old sim. It runs really quite well once you kind of tweak your settings. And we've got a decent number of releases now for this sim. Like I said, like I'm more of the airliner pilot, so you know I'm happy to have that Boeing 737 at my disposal now. Finally, after 2 years of waiting, it's nice to have the high quality sims like that. The Phoenix 320 is a really nice airplane. The CRJ, which was kind of the first really airliner to release in this sim, that's a nice airplane as well. Pardon me. It's so nice to have so many good airplanes. Like I feel like we've already reached this point where we're getting a lot of good airplanes coming out in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Tons of fantastic, great scenery. Like it blows my mind how many airports have been released for this platform. "14 years in Corona time." Yes, exactly. It feels like it's been longer. So it was August 2020. Huh? You know what? That actually kind of makes sense a little bit to me now, because I remember one of the things was that as soon as the COVID-19 sort of happened, I remember in that first April, Sim Market went to like all of their vendors and said, "Hey, let's give away something free every day to just give people something to do when they're stuck inside." Every single day they gave away some free piece of software. In some cases it was an airport. That could be the Geneva airport, or this, Zurich airport up there. It was an airport, it was scenery, it was real turbulence software, something different every day, and that was but it was all P3D stuff. That I actually do remember quite distinctly. It was all P3D stuff, and I like doubled the size of my P3D collection, scenery collection in a month with all that stuff. So what a great kind of way to bring the community together too, though. Like, you know, if each vendor gives away one thing for free, it gives lots of people a chance to try their software, decide if they like it. That is probably the airport up there, isn't it? It gives lots of people a chance to try their software, see if they like it. You know, it gives lots of people who maybe are laid off and not doing so well a chance to expand their collection. The community as a whole, it was a really good program, and it worked so well, and I don't think any one developer suffered for it. In most cases, it probably did not represent that many lost sales, because it was usually the products were not brand new products either. They were usually products that were at least a year or two old, so they were products that people were not already buying. You know, people who probably wanted to buy them had already bought them, so you are basically giving it away for free to people who probably weren't going to pay for it anyways. So what a great little giveaway that was. Really, I think kind of did an excellent job of just bringing the community together, giving people something really to do when they were stuck inside, when we were all on lockdown for that first year. Oh, what a year. And then we got this simulator, and we didn't have to go outside ever again. I don't know where we're going after Zurich. I forget what the next one is. It's about a 30 more minute voyage, so we'll get this done. But yeah, that's got to be the Zurich airport up there. I think I can see a runway there. So you can see that it all kind of worked out. We are going to end up flying pretty much right over Lake Zurich here. Turn north. Land at Zurich airport. I don't even know what the winds are doing. The winds are pretty light anyways in this scenario. I don't think we even have a wind readout on here. But yeah, they generally, for these VFR trips, they keep it as partly cloudy, light winds. You know, you pretty much could land any runway, any orientation you want. It doesn't really matter too much because they're all, you're dealing with a very minimal crosswind or very minimal tailwind if you've got any at all. So kind of coming over just a little bit of a ridge here, just on the borderline of Lake Zurich. Definitely has the look of a busy urban area over here. And my altitude is slowly drifting down, but I'm okay with that because we got to go land over there anyways. So I'm okay with losing a little bit of altitude here. Just gonna basically cross this ridge line. We're just gonna turn and start following the valley. We don't have to fly over the lake anymore. I can see the destination. I know where we're going. We found it successfully. The nav log is really no longer required, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pop that up in the corner like that. There's a river there, and there's obviously a couple of highways kind of crossing each other right there on the outskirts of Zurich. Well, and as much fun as it sounds to go and find that lake, I am going to try and finish this bush tour because I just want to get it done now that I've started it. It's a, you know, it's a good little mission to have, and I just wanted to really take this chance to show them off. I have not shown them off, and I think they're tons of fun. If you ever have a chance, guys, to sit down, especially with some friends, sit down and go and do these bush tours. It's tons of fun. See, I notice this junction here disappears into the side of the mountain, so there must be a tunnel there. Leads out the other side. Because this highway junction just disappears into the mountain there. Alright, so we're just going to go for the straight in on whatever runway this is over here in Zurich. Is that, if it is where the next leg goes, then that's where we will absolutely go. I'm not even sure. I'm going to, we're going to find out in probably about 5 minutes here. We'll set ourselves up for leg number 3 here. And that looks like that might even be like a cemetery on the side of the hill there, just kind of judging by the texture of it. It's too small to be individual buildings. But it could well be a cemetery. That seems like a kind of the kind of place you would put a cemetery, just sort of on the outskirts of the town there. Just near the mountain, just near the foot of the hill, just near the base of the mountains there. One hell of a railway yard there. I guess if Zurich runs on railways, then, or if Switzerland runs on railways, then Zurich has got to have one hell of a runway, or one hell of a railway yard to handle all of this. Oh, we'll find out in a minute here. Little footy stadium over there. Just a little one. No big deal. Probably actually focus on trying to get down to this runway here because I think we are still pretty high. It's okay. Pull the power off a little bit, shove the nose down. It's all good. Not doing checklists or anything on this. It really is. This is just about exploration to me. If you want to make it really realistic, then you want to actually talk to some ATC and fly in and out of these airports. But I hope this is actually a runway. Hope this is not like it was a runway and it's converted to a taxiway. You know what? I feel like it is. I feel like that was a runway that's been converted to a taxiway now. It just doesn't look like it's got any markings on it whatsoever. So we're just going to break off onto a left base for this runway. Nice looking part of town here. Maybe a university or something, because it's got this nice little water feature right here. I honestly don't know, but it could be. Yeah, I think that was a runway that has been abandoned. All right, full flaps. It's a highly detailed airport. We should be on path any second now here. Oh, she's just floating along the ground. There it is. All right, so I'm just going to turn off the runway right here on what I thought was my runway. I honestly don't even know if it's a taxiway anymore. Looks like it's got a line on it. Looks like there might be a little parking stand up here. I'm just going to head for that really quick. Get my flaps up. I don't know why I feel the need to do this, since really this is such a informal operation. I'm just going to pull off over here and call it a day. Park. Give it a second, and boom. Leg number 2 completed. 37 minutes. There we go, guys. So we got 2 legs done now. Now we did Bern over to Zurich, and now we're going to just do leg number 3, and then we can call this bush trip completed in one nice long live stream here.